Joel Dembe of Hamilton, Ontario, Paralympic athlete in wheelchair tennis.
I was born with a spinal tumor at birth, which caused a partial paralysis, leaving me in a wheelchair at a very young age. And as a child, I got involved in a variety of wheelchair sports. And at the age of 14, I picked up wheelchair tennis. Wheelchair tennis is arguably the toughest sport in the world. I mean, you have to do so many things at once. You have to be able to wheel your chair, you have to be able to coordinate your chair to a moving ball, you have to be able to hold your racket, you have to be able to hit the ball over the net. You have to do a lot of things at once. So it's a very difficult sport to not only get into, but to succeed at. I think what drives me in wheelchair tennis is knowing that my competitors are working just as hard. So you have to think in the back of your mind, if you're not training, someone out there is. So you really want to move yourself and motivate yourself, because there's some days you wake up and you just don't feel like you have it or you're not motivated. But there's always that gnawing at the back of your head, knowing that your competitors are probably doing the same. So you really got to work hard to keep up with them.
I fell into the trap of just focusing on what my friends were focusing on, and that was a career, you know, working your way up the corporate ladder. And to be fair, my tennis suffered because of that. And you know, it's very tough working on Bay Street and pursuing a tennis career at the same time. So I had to make a really tough decision a few years ago to leave my position in the financial industry and go for it full-time in wheelchair tennis. Now, at the time I made that decision, I was ranked number 4 in Canada. I was outside the top 100, and I didn't really know how far I would actually go when I did it full time. And my main goal was to get to London 2012. So this was a 2-year process in which I had to pursue going for London. So when I made the decision, I decided, okay, let's treat wheelchair tennis as a job.
I definitely realized how much better I could be if I would just focus on tennis for, a year and a half leading up to the Paralympics. So I finished 3rd at the Nationals for the 3rd or 4th straight year last year. And I'm like, you know what? If I really dedicated my time to wheelchair tennis, I think really good things could come of this. And fortunately, a lot of good things have come from that. Quite soon after I left my position at the bank, where I worked as a marketing analyst. I became number 1 in Canada this past summer, I think in July. It was important to me to become number 1, just justification that I'd made the right decision to leave my position at TD. All the training that I've put in over the years and all of the money I've invested, all the hours of travel and hours on the court and everything my parents, invested in me to get to this spot. It was a justification of that all I've done in my tennis career paid off. That's the big thing. And it took a lot longer than I probably would have thought as a cocky teenager thinking, I'll get to number 1, it'll be easy, No, I had to work hard at it and I had to play well this year to do it. And, winning 3 tournaments this year definitely shot my ranking up. I just feel like right now I'm playing the best tennis of my career, and it's simply because of the amount of hours I'm on court right now. Well, if they've come out to see wheelchair tennis, I hope they see that we're more athletes than disabled individuals. And I think that's what you see. You see more athleticism than you would assume for someone with a disability. And I think wheelchair tennis is a great international sport. It showcases the best, in my opinion, the best type of wheelchair sport. And it's fast, it's fun, and I think it shows that tennis is for everyone.
Explain for us a little bit, Joel, exactly what some of the major differences are in tennis when you're in a wheelchair.
The major difference between able-bodied tennis and wheelchair tennis is that we get a second bounce. The first bounce has to land within court regulations, and the second bounce can land wherever. But the way the game has evolved in the last few years, more and more wheelchair tennis athletes are taking it off that first bounce. And you're using a drop shot to get to the second bounce, I guess. But overall, it's a fun sport, but it's the same. Tennis is tennis.
Well, yeah, we're looking at you there. And I gather you said that growing up, because you've been in a wheelchair since you were young, Joel, it was a great equalizer.
For sure. You know, when I looked at all of my able-bodied friends growing up, they were all playing sports, and I wanted to be just like them. And when I found tennis, wheelchair tennis, it was amazing because I could be obviously in my wheelchair on one side of the court, and they would be on the other side of the court. I would play with the second bounce, and they would play on the first bounce, and it would work so well. It's an amazing thing to see.
No matter what disability you may or may not have, sport gives us all something to work for. You have to be calm, you have to be focused, and that's really what tennis teaches you, the ability to focus yourself.